God is by my side. The devil is a lie. I'm praying every night. Everything gon' be alright. Yeah, 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 yeah. God is by my side. Yeah, 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 yeah. The devil is a lie. Yeah, 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 yeah. Every night, everything's gonna be alright.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's Seth Sean Patel, and I hope all of you guys are having a blessed day. So I hope you guys enjoyed like that little montage right there. Hope you guys enjoyed that video that I just showed at the beginning of the video as well. Those were some of my achievements over the past couple months, and I hope you guys enjoyed that video, by the way, as well. If you guys don't know, my goal is to become a pastor one day. That is my goal. I even made a video about it as well. It's like, I'm bring it up here. Basically, that was made a couple months ago, and I was basically explaining my goal to be a pastor and the steps that I'm taking, and basically what God is doing in my life and how God is preparing me to be a pastor. So I basically explained that in that video. So I'll link that in the link. I'll link that in the link in the description. Over the past couple months, God has been putting me in my discomfort zone, and let me just say that has been the hardest thing for me, right? And by the way, too, is like, let me just say that God pushing me out of my discomfort zone, it has helped me grow. It has helped me grow. I've been able to help more people come to Christ. It increased my boldness, right? And it allowed me, to, become even stronger in my faith. And a bird will never grow unless it's pushed out of its nest, right? In order for you to get to the place that God wants you to be, you're going to have to face discomfort. God doesn't use discomfort to discourage us. He actually uses it to encourage us and build us, right? The only way that you are going to grow is if you step out of your comfort zone, right? I learned that there's no growth in your comfort, right? Actually, your comfort is just going to hold you back from the amazing things God has for you. When you choose to make the decision to step out of your comfort and to step into your discomfort zone, right, you're going to grow. And a lot of things on this walk with God is going to involve you stepping out of your comfort. And let me just say too, like, I've always had a fear of going up on stage, right? And I even had like other times when I had opportunities and chances to be on stage, but I would deny those chances because I would deny those opportunities because I had a fear of going up on stage and stuff as well. So I was fearful of going up on stage and speaking in front of so many people. That was something I feared. And then a couple months and then I remember this time when, and I remember too when my pastor, right, he came up to me. So it was basically this thing, right? It was going to be this thing happening at my church where a couple teenagers would come up on stage and they would just basically read a topic from an article. Then the next one would come up and the next one would come down. You were basically just reading something off an article on stage and then just coming down. And basically, I remember on that exact day as well too. Right, when that was going to be happening, right, at church, I was walking and I saw a pastor. And I think the pastor said something to me about like, did I still want to do like, the thing on stage, basically like reading the article. It was basically like an article. You were reading something off the paper off stage. And I think pastor asked, did I still want to do it? This was like a couple months ago. So, I'm basically just saying what I remember. But yeah, pastor came up to me, he said something to me like, the event we were going to be doing, right? Basically going up on stage and stuff, right? Me going up on stage with the other teenagers. And I think I said like, no, that I didn't want to do it. And pastor asked me why as well too. And I responded with something. I don't remember what I said, but even to this day, like I'm wondering, how did my name get on the list? Because I never told pastor or, anybody in the church that I wanted to do that, go up on stage and read something. I never told any of the members in the church that I wanted to do that because it was something I didn't want to do. It was something that I wasn't thinking about doing as well. but somehow my name ended up on the list. And I didn't even tell pastor that I wanted to be on the list, but somehow my name was on the list. But I don't remember putting my name on the list. I don't remember talking about anybody putting my name on the list. So, I'm still kind of confused about that. But I know that that was God. I know that was definitely God as well too. Like my name was on there. I didn't like tell anybody that I wanted to do it, but somehow my name still ended up on there. And I think that was definitely God. And that was definitely a sign from God. Like that was definitely a sign from God, right? For me to take this opportunity. But I remember I still rejected it as well too. I still rejected that opportunity. A, that was definitely something God wanted me to do as well. But I ended up not taking that opportunity, right? Somehow my name ended up on the list, but I didn't even put my name on there. But I think that was definitely God. But I remember too, a couple months later, right? A couple months later. So after that, a couple months later, right? There is basically Good Friday for my church. It's Good Friday for my church. And basically there was going to be a Good Friday service. I remember it was on this one day of church, right? So it was the end of church, right? And I remember too, basically what I did is I'm in church. It was basically the end of church. So I remember at the end of church basically as well. So I end up going into this room in the church, right? This is a room in a church. It's basically like a teaching room and stuff as well too. That was basically the room where I had baptism class in basically. And I was talking to the baptism teacher, right? And I remember asking him, like, what can I do to serve the church, right? Because that was on my heart. And even on that day at the service as well, I was in the sanctuary at the service, pastor was preaching, by the way, as well. And I felt it on my heart, like, what can I do to serve the church? What can I do to serve the church? I remember I was thinking about that. So at the end of the service, right? Come, guys, this is getting good. This is getting good. Keep tuning in. I talked to my baptism teacher, right? And I said, what can I do to serve the church? Right? What can I do to serve the church? And I think he responded with something. Yeah, he responded with something, but I don't remember. But I think I told him, like, I think I asked him, like, what can I do to serve the church? And basically after that, after he responded, I basically went out of the room. I went out of the church. I think I was bringing, like, I got some things from the food pantry. I think I was bringing it in my mother's car or something as well. No, I don't think it. No, because I think that was already in the car. I think I already put that in there actually as well too, right? This was a long time ago, so it is a little hard to remember. I'm just trying to say what I remember. But after that, I went out of the church and I went to my mother's car and I told my mom something, right? Because I had to go back into church. So I remember, right, I was walking and stuff as well. And basically, I get done talking with my mother, and basically what I do is I'm walking. And basically, once I open up the church, and remember, when I asked my baptism teacher, how can I serve the church? So basically, I walked back in the building after leaving it. I walked back into the building after talking with my mother. I walked back into the building. And, as I walk in the building, I see both my baptism teacher and my pastor, right, standing near me, right? And I think it was my other pastor as well, because there's like two pastors on my church. One preaches one Sunday, another preaches another Sunday. So it was my two pastors, standing right in front of like the door, where you enter for the church, the main entrance. And it was my baptism teacher as well too. And I remember pastor was talking to me about the Good Friday service. Yeah, I think my other pastor was standing near me too, but I know that one of my pastors was there too. I think my other pastor was there too, and it was also my baptism teacher. Now, my pastor talked to me about the Good Friday service, right? It was a Good Friday service coming up, and that would involve me going up on stage and preaching one of the 7 last words of Jesus, right? And I did, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do, right? That was the one I ended up doing. But I remember too, your pastor was talking to me about that as well too, and stuff as well too. And they were talking to me about this opportunity, right? And remember, before all this happened, I remember talking to my baptism teacher, how can I serve, what can I do to serve the church? And then this ends up happening. And then this happens and stuff as well. And they were basically, and then they were telling me about the Good Friday service and stuff as well, and what it was going to be involving and stuff as well. But then they were saying, like, I think they were saying, like, there's no pressure as well too and stuff as well, and stuff. And yeah, they wanted me to think about it as well too. But right there, that was God working there. Because I remember I was saying, what can I do to serve my church? And then, bro, I go back, I go, once I come back into the church after leaving it to talk to my mother, I enter back and they talk to me about this new opportunity. And let me just say that was definitely God. And I remember too, like, I remember too, a couple weeks later, I think and I remember too, in this process as well too, I think I end up start second guessing it and stuff as well too. I know God wanted me to do this, but I end up second guessing it, right, and stuff as well too. But what I do is I end up doing it. I end up doing it as well because I know God was calling me to do it. Because, bro, this would be serving God. This would be serving the church. So this would be good. Even though I was second guessing it a little bit, I still went for it. And I also remember too, as well too, fast forward and stuff as well too. I remember that we had like a meeting. It was like somewhere in the week we had like a meeting. They gave us these books. They wanted us to think about, like, to read through it. 2 meetings, I guess. But basically, both of those meetings basically involved us. They involved us like picking out a topic, that we're going to do. One was, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Another one was, Father, why haven't you forsaken me? And there was some other ones as well. But I picked out, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. I think that was on the first meeting I did that as well. I picked that out. I picked one out and stuff as well on the first meeting as well. In the first meeting, it involved them just telling us, like, what we're going to be doing and stuff as well too, the things that are going to be happening, the things that are going to come into play. They also gave us these little books. It was, I think it was titled, well, I forgot what the book was titled, but it involved the 7 last words of Jesus in it. We basically each had to pick a topic. So it was me, right? And there was like a couple adults who were doing it. Like all adults, like it was me and stuff as well. I was like the only teenager and the others were adults though. But there was this one young adult. It was like one young adult there as well too. And I remember there was a second meeting and stuff as well too. And basically on that second meeting, it was basically like, they asked me like, what I was thinking and, what I was going to say. They basically asked me some questions, right? Because basically I had to, plan out what I was going to say and stuff as well too, like study and like plan out what I was going to say. Because I'm going to be up on stage explaining one of the 7 last words of Jesus for this Good Friday service. Basically, yeah, they talked about the things that were going to come into play and stuff as well too, as well. And by the way, I ended up picking the topic, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do, right? That was the topic I was going to be doing. And I remember too, like, when it was that day, right? When it was that day too. And also too, I remember it was this one time, it was youth group when I was talking to pastor, like what I was thinking I was going to say and stuff. He basically gave me, some more understanding and things that I should say, right? So he basically gave me more understanding about the topic and what I should say. And I remember too that exact day as well too. I was getting ready and stuff as well too. I remember that exact day. And yeah, everything went really well. That day we went in this room. It was basically everybody was going to be speaking on stage. It was about 5-6 people who were in there, I think, or it was about like 5 or 4 people in there as well. But it was going to be the pastors, both of the pastors who were going to be up on stage preaching a topic, and there was going to be others speaking a topic, and there was going to also be me. But I was going first as well too, and I ended up going first, and I ended up doing really well. And right here, as you guys can see here, go check out that video, because that video basically is basically where my first ever sermon, I did my first ever sermon that day. That video is right there. So if you guys want to check out that would be in the link in the description as well. My first ever sermon. And yeah, that was basically on, Good Friday. But that was such an awesome opportunity. And I feel like that me taking that opportunity, like that just led to me, breaking that barrier of going up on stage, right? I feel like that moment started it all, right? And, now there's been more moments of me speaking on stage. I remember too, like it was this one time, right, where I was at this event with, my friends and stuff. And I spoke at a high school in front of like 40 to 30 people, right? And it was a lot of high schoolers on that bleachers. There were even teachers and, basically basically like people, the people who were also on the bleachers, they were basically people who were running this event, and even teachers and other people as well who were watching. Basically there I was talking about my testimony, and I even spoke about sharing the gospel, tips for sharing the gospel as well too. I provided encouragement and tips for sharing the gospel, which was really good. I thought that I would never be able to speak on stage in front of so many people. I never thought I could do that before, right? But it kind of just reminds me of this verse, Ephesians 3:20. He's able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we ask or think. God is able to do the impossible. All things are possible with God. Luke 1:37. All things are possible with God. And God gave me the strength. He gave me the ability, the boldness to be able to speak on stage. But me being able to do that, right? Speak on stage in front of a whole lot of people. That didn't just happen in like one day, right? That took a process. Like God put me in like, areas where I could grow into and develop into the type of person that can one day do that, speak on stage and speak in front of a whole lot of people. Like it started off just me like speaking, me being at Bible meetings and stuff, like me being at youth group, me being at youth groups and basically talking in front of, a couple people, right? About my opinion on the topic. That could be my opinion on the topic, or anything that could be my opinion on a topic, or basically what I just think of the lesson. But there's been times when I would basically just speak in the small groups with other people at youth group meetings as well, whether that would be my thoughts on the lesson or experiences. God put me in places like that, right? Just speaking in front of, a couple people, right? And stuff as well too. Like God put me in those type of areas, and that kind of me just doing that continuously, that just prepared me and prepared me and prepared me, right? To be speaking on stage in front of more people. So I started off, just speaking to a couple people, right? I did that as well too, right? And I feel like that helped me, right? And prepared me to speak on stage in front of a lot of people. I also remember this one time when I had this opportunity, right, to basically in a Bible study, right, with other, youths there as well too. Basically, I was talking with the person who was going to be teaching that lesson as well to the Bible teacher. I basically had a conversation with him and stuff as well too. And basically I was talking to him at this one time, like on how I wanted to help out and like chime in the Bible study. So like he speaks, then I speak as well. Like basically he speaks and breaks down the topic that we're going to be talking about. And what I do is I chime in and I end up, I end up explaining the lesson, even he takes over as well too again. Basically that day there was a lot of youth in there as well too. So basically the Bible teacher, he preached first, right? He preached first and he explained the topic. Then what I did is chimed in and I said, and I explained it as well too, right? And there was like a lot of youth in there. There was a lot of youth in there, probably like 10 or like 12 youth in there as well too, right? And basically things like that as well too. And even too, there was this one other event as well too where I was speaking, right, with in groups of other youth as well too. And there's been other moments like this I've had too. Like there's been similar moments that I had to these as well too. And God put me in these moments and stuff. And those moments really helped me grow. It was those small preparations that prepared me for the big things, right? That also helped me become better in my public speaking abilities. That even helped me become even better in my public speaking abilities. And it led me to developing the ability to go up on stage and to speak in front of other people. It will be like that, like me speaking in front of like a couple people and stuff as well too. That prepared me kind of, and it helped me more and more and more like break that barrier of public speaking, right? And like sometimes too, like I'm not saying that like I fully overcome the fear of public speaking. Like I still have a fear of it, but I'm much better at it than I was like, a couple months ago. And me just doing that, me starting little, right? God was putting me in those areas, right? That eventually helped me and helped me and develop me into the type of person, right, that can be able to speak on stage in front of a lot of people, right? And sometimes too, God will take you through God will take you, right, to certain place. God will take you and put you in different areas, right, so that he can help you grow and mold you into the type of person to be able to go to a different place, the place that he wants you. So sometimes God will take us, right, through a season, right, growing us, molding us, right, helping us, growing us, so that we can eventually, right, get to the place where God wants us to be. I'm not saying that I fully overcome the fear of going up on stage, right? I still have a fear of it, but I have broken a lot of the barrier of that, going up on stage and speaking in front of a lot of people. I have become much better at it. Like, there's still work to do, but I've become much better at it. And one thing, too, tips for going up on stage and speaking in front of others. Let me just say, I'm not perfect. I still have much to work on when it comes to this. Going up on stage and speaking in front of a lot of people. It's something I still need to work on, right? I've done it a couple times, yes, but I'm not saying I'm a master at it. There's still much more improvement. There's still much growth. A tip I recommend is get used to public speaking, right? Get used to that. Like, get used to speaking in front of people, right? Get used to, like, start off small. Like, that could be like, like you talking in front of a couple people, right? Get used to those things. Get used to, like, speaking in front of people, right? That's something that's something I still got to work on as well, but it's something I've become more better at. But I'm basically just telling you guys, like, some tips I recommend when it comes, to speaking up on stage in front of a lot of people, right? So I say, get used to, get used to talking in front of people, right? Whether that's a couple people, whether that is even at your youth group, and small groups and stuff as well too. Like, just get used to speaking in front of people, whether that's a couple people. I say work on that. Get used to, like, speaking in front of people and public speaking. Focus on delivering value than perfection, which builds confidence, right? Let me just say that, like, get used to speaking in front of people. Like, that's something that's going to help. Like, how you talk to your brothers and sisters, how you talk to your friends, like, that can definitely help too, right? Like, just, practice speaking in front of people, right? Practice speaking in front of people. Like, that can be like sharing your experiences with other people, sharing your thoughts. That can be sharing your thoughts with people, sharing your experiences with other people, right? Right? That's ways you can practice public speaking, right? That's ways you can practice public speaking. Like, let's say you're in a youth group, right? You're in a youth group, right? And basically in that youth group, you guys are basically in a group and you guys are basically just talking about what you guys think of the lesson, right? It's like an open conversation between you and your group, right? That's a way that that can help you do public speaking by sharing your thoughts, right? In front of groups of people, sharing your thoughts, sharing your opinions, sharing your stories, right? That can help. Another thing I recommend is seek God's guidance throughout this process. I remember too when I prayed for God to push me out of my discomfort zone, and that's what God did. He put me in areas where I could step out of my comfort zone, and it has helped me grow. So I say seek God's guidance, right? Seek God's guidance, and God will give you the materials and the boldness, right, to be able to speak on stage in front of a lot of people. He will help you do those things, right? Remember in Philippians 4:13, it says that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. God can strengthen us with boldness. He can strengthen us with and equip us with the materials we need to be able to perform, right, effectively what he has called us to do. So I say seek God's guidance throughout this. And another thing too, right, when it comes to speaking up on stage in front of people, is to know your material, right? Be confident in the information that you are sharing, right? Make sure that you have a good understanding of whatever you're sharing, right? Make sure you have a understanding of, whatever you're talking about, whether it's a topic or, whatever you're talking about. Be confident in what you're saying, right? Be confident in the information, right? Be confident in the information that you are giving. Be comfortable with the information that you're sharing as well too. But basically, those are some tips that can help you as well too. Keep in mind that the whole goal, this is the whole foundation here, is giving glory to God, right? So whatever you do, do it for God's glory, right? Whatever God calls you to do, he is going to equip you with the materials you need to be able to successfully, effectively do what he has called you to do. And even too, Paul says in the book of Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 10 verses 21, he says that whether you eat or drink, right, do it all for the glory of God. So yeah, I've been growing, and stepping out of my comfort zone has been the most amazing thing for me, right? It has helped me grow, and it's even helped me bring other people to God. I accomplished a lot over I accomplished so much this year. As 2025 comes to an end, I just want to say, I want to give all thanks to God. God has helped me accomplish so many things this year.